All right, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, August 10th, 2012. Let me just give you the results first. In the morning session, the live trading room, we had one losing crude trade, so we lost 8 ticks on that. We had one losing ES trade, but it wasn't a full loss. It was only 1 point that we lost. I slipped 1 tick on a break-even trade as well, so I was minus 5 ticks on the ES and minus 8 ticks on the crude. That was the results from the morning's trading. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go to www.cfrn.net/apply to sign up for the free trial. With the free trial, you get 5 days in our live trading room. You get access to all the data feeds for commodities and the charting platform that you see in front of you from Daniel's Trading at DT Pro. And you get all of our indicators for that 5-day free trial period. All right. If you have any questions about anything or anything like that in that 5-day free trial period, that's the time to throw them out there to us, and we will do our best to get them answered for you. All right. That said, let's move on to the actual trades. We didn't take very many trades today. Again, the markets this whole week have been incredibly flat. It doesn't look so flat when you're looking at it right here, but when you're actually trading it from the live trading room in the period where it was tradable, from right here to right here was an hour. We didn't get any opportunity there. From right here to right there was a half an hour. We didn't get any opportunity on this pullback. This is the long trade that I took right here. Now the setup is for the MA1, which is the blue and red line right here, to be above the green line, which is the BBC. Right? It crosses above, then you start looking for long trades. Once price pulls away from it like this, you're anticipating it's going to come back down and look for an area of support. The support being the BBC. So it came down, tested the BBC. Then I looked down here to see if I have bullish divergence between the green line and the cycle portion of the slingshot. We did have the bullish divergence, so I took a long right there, and it went up to the MA1, was rejected, and it stopped me out before it eventually went back. It stopped me out. I had 8 ticks risk on it, and it went down 10, so I would have needed an 11-tick stop in this particular case to stay in that trade. But you can see the direction was right, and it did eventually go up. All right, it went up fairly significantly. I think I was in at 92.65, and it ran up to 93.20 for a 55-tick move. That's $550. That was the only trade that I took this morning on the crude oil. And there was over here. There was another opportunity that was starting to come together over here, but by the time it actually came together, the cycle portion was moving up too high, so we didn't look at that. There was another one over here that did actually come together, but that was just while Dwayne was talking there a few minutes ago. We had a bearish cross, a test of the BBC with a down close, and we had bearish divergence down here. So there was an opportunity to get short in there at 92.80, and it dropped down to 92.70 for a $100 contract profit potential if you took it. All right, that was the crude oil. The NQ, I took a few trades on the NQ this morning. All of them break even. Or 2 trades on the NQ. Both of them break even. There were a couple of opportunities, though. These rectangles that I drew in here, or the squares is what they are, that I drew in here this morning, those illustrate places where you could have taken momentum trades on the way up or on the way down. The actual ellipses are the setups that we teach everybody in the live trading room in the morning. The other things are things that we've taught in the partners meetings and we've alluded to in the live trading room in the morning. Even here in the past we've alluded to them, or we've discussed them, I'll say. We had a bullish cross test of the BBC with an up close. There was an opportunity to get long right there. Here we had a bearish cross test of the BBC with a down close, bearish divergence here, and bullish divergence here. So there was an opportunity on both of those to take a trade. There was one over here and another one over here, bullish cross, tested the BBC up close, tested the BBC again with the up close, with the bullish divergence in both of these cases. Okay. Now someone in the live trading room this morning asked if I was going to take this one right here. And when I was looking at it, I didn't want to take this one right here because it was still this one working itself out as far as the divergence goes. But once we pulled back and we got better divergence, then I was thinking the next one would be okay to trade right in here. Okay, I didn't get in on those. I ended up missing them. I did try to get in on them, but I wasn't fast enough. I couldn't find my DOM fast enough, I don't think. Here we had a bearish cross to test to the BBC with a down close. I took that trade. I ended up taking a break even on it. Over here we had a bullish cross up there, test to the BBC with an up close. We had bullish divergence here and bearish divergence there. I took that trade. I ended up taking a break even on that one as well. I think that was the last trade that I took on the NQ, and you can see how choppy it's been in here. You know, I did not take another trade on the NQ. Now let's look at the ES quickly. In the ES, I took 2 trades, 3 trades. What did I take this morning? I took 3 trades this morning. Okay, my first trade was right here. After the open, price had put in a lower swing right here. You know, right at the open, right here, right here. Price was coming off of the BBC, and I had said I want to see a lower swing before I enter a trade. We did get a lower swing in there. It came back up, tested the BBC, and that's where I went short. I shorted it, and once it came down here and filled the window of opportunity right here, the window of opportunity, I moved my stop to break even. Price eventually went, I believe it went 2 points. It did go 2 points from my entry. I ended up taking a break even on the trade. Okay. We didn't put in a lower swing, so I wasn't looking to get short right here. When I say a lower swing, I mean we didn't drop below this pivot. I was thinking the whole time, though, that we were going to work our way down to the weekly trading zone. But at the time, the YM was putting in lower lows when the ES wasn't. And eventually the YM stopped putting in lower lows and started to move up, and the ES moved up with it. All right. Now, I did not take this long trade right here because we had put in a lower high right there. All right. And this is what Dwayne was talking about earlier. Once it put in that lower high, I had drawn this trend line up here, and price came up, tested that trend line, and was rejected from it. At that point, I think Dwayne put his sell order on right down here at 96.25. All right. Because it was rejected up here, and we thought that this right here was going to be the top. Dwayne did say in the live trading room this morning that he was going to sell 96.25, and he put that on, and it was actually less than 30 seconds. I think it was more like 10 seconds that it dropped from here down to here. Now you can see this is the trend line right here that it hit, and we had this upper trend line up here. Price pulled back up and tested the BBC. I shorted it there at the BBC when it came up there, and it gave a point profit, went down and filled the window of opportunity. Once it had done that, I moved my stop to break even, and it took me out at break even. Now let me move these arrows around so you can see it a little better. It did all that right in here. Like I was stopped out at break even on that bar before we had to close below this trend line. And I was telling everyone in the live trading room that if it closed below that trend line, there was a good chance that it was going to keep going down. All right, it should open the door to lower prices. Normally, it would open the door to lower prices. In this particular case, though, it closed there, and I put a 1 point stop on it. So my stop was right up here. And it went down, hit the MA1 again, and again the MA1 held it in place, and it went up and stopped me out. All right. Right now we have a bullish cross, a test of the BBC, so you could be long right here. There's no real reason why you wouldn't be long right here. The trend line, for everyone that's been following the trend lines that I've been drawing, the trend line down was right there. Okay. So we need to close up above that trend line. If we close up above that trend line, it should open the door to higher prices. All right. That was the ES this morning. Now let me just show you something that was going on with the ES, with the YM, while I was doing this on the ES. Where the heck was it? This is 10:09. You can't see it. That's why. All right. When it pulled back up here to the BBC on the ES, it also pulled back up here to the BBC on the YM. This is a 500 contract. The 20 was in the middle of the envelope down here, suggesting it was going to be okay. Or was it? No, it had just come out of the envelope. Either way, it went down and it filled the window of opportunity. We talked about that. This was the lower price I was referring to when I said the YM was putting in lower lows while the ES was not. Then the YM started, off of that low that it put there, it just started to move up. And once it did, it just kept going. All right. I wanted to point that out as well. There was pretty much on every time that there was an opportunity to buy or sell the BBC on the YM, it filled the window of opportunity, which is the space between the BBC and the MA1. Okay, it did it again over here, there, down to there. Over here, the window of opportunity was right here up to here. It just filled that. And on the ES, it did the same thing. Every time it hit the BBC, it filled the window of opportunity before it completed its move one way or the other. All right. And that, my friends, is the recap for today. So we ended the day down 5 ticks on the ES and down 8 ticks on the crude. Okay. If anybody has any questions, you can email us at support@cfrn.net. If you haven't taken the free trial and you want to take the free trial, go to www.cfrn.net/apply.